they call Uncle Buddy. He was more loved. Tough guy.
But popular amongst the masses.
Way more popular. And, a lot of people say if he really did take over, the Lucchese family would be, who knows where they would be today. Be much better off. Vic and Gas get this thing, right? And the only thing is...
Your services are no longer needed.
Right, so they felt that.
You don't get to collect unemployment.
They felt that. I like how you're comparing it to real life. But they feel like, you go and there's guys who don't want you there. They don't respect you being there. Well, what are you going to do? Right? You're a gangster. These guys ain't going to play around. And they started killing them off.
Yeah.
A lot of guys got killed because of that. A lot of guys didn't want to come in. They called them in. They don't want to come in. You're not going to come in? I'm going to kill you. You don't want to listen? You're dead.
But they figured they were going to get killed for coming in anyway, so...
Right, so the smart ones did come in. The smart ones went along with, the flow. And, they're all right. So really, they had a startup. It was like a startup company. It wasn't like they took over a family and everybody was like, congratulating them. Like,
they kind of 2.0 came up with their own?
But I guess Gas, especially Vic too, took it to a different level, But like I said, when they were around, I benefited from it. They were good to me. And if you wanted anybody on your side, if Gas had your back, you had nothing to worry about. The guy go to the wall for you. If you were on the other side, you got to watch because he's gonna,
I'm very capable of getting that handled.
Yeah,
Interesting in different ways.
But the thing is, though. Not to try to glorify him or anything, it's like I say, he was good and bad for us. He was good in a way where I feel like the Lucchese family had the respect and the fear, like, hey, don't.
Right, they're not to be played with. It's a dangerous toy.
Where he was bad was his own guys started getting paranoid, and he created a lot of turmoil. He created a lot of paranoia. With that came a lot of chaos, a lot of cooperation, and here we are. Not to say there's guys out there that are any better, He didn't shit from nobody. That's what I loved about him.
Right. And like I said, only because you've had a close relationship with him and spent time with him, inside and out, you have an insight to him and his personality that, most people don't. Because most people know him either in or out or as the boss or as, not as a colleague or a friend or, somebody you work with.
I was shocked one time he got emotional with me. Okay? He probably knew he wasn't going to see me again. We're in 7 North. My name gets up to go to Otisville because they have buses going back and forth, right? So he probably knew back then he was going to flip and he wasn't going to see me again. So he's packing my box, and like we used to transport olive oil because there's things like in MCC you could buy olive oil, but in Otisville you couldn't buy it in the commissary. So there was different things that each commissary had.
You couldn't get. Right.
And you would show like camaraderie and say, hey, give this to so and so, So he's packing my box and he can't look at me. Like he's got his head down. I'm trying to make eye contact with him to say goodbye. And I went to say goodbye to him. He had tears in his eyes behind his sunglasses, right? And I'm looking through. Then I see like his eyes were like watered up. Right. And he goes, I love you, right? No matter what happens. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, I love you too. Gave him a hug and a kiss. And I seen like he got like choked up. Mm-hmm. And he walked away. I never seen him after that. Well, about a month later, word got out he flipped. So he knew he wasn't going to see me again, But it was funny, though, because when I was in Otisville, I kept going back and forth to the MCC way before he flipped, right? And I would always wind up on the floor with him. And he would always check up on me. So he would call my house. So my mother goes, I will call. She goes, Uncle Anthony called? And she's thinking, I have an Uncle Anthony, but he's not in jail. So she's trying to figure out, who's calling the house,
right.
So I said, I know who it is, He would always call my house all the time, check on me. How's the kid doing? How's the kid doing? How's my nephew doing? You know? But like I said, he was, the relationship I had with him towards the end, I had carte blanche with him. Carte blanche. But that's that. I think that they gave him a raw deal, you know. They gave him, 5 life sentences, 560-some years,
It's all kind of relevant, I guess, if how you look at it. It depends on.
He did a. People break my chops, right? They'll break chops. Pull up the thing he did on 60 Minutes. There's a show that he did on 60 Minutes. If you just pull the picture up, in the interview he goes, the best of foods, the best of wines, right?
Right.
People remember that,
right?
And they joke about it.
Well, I know what you're talking about. I've seen that clip. I know that clip.
You know the clip,
yeah? Because that clip is bouncing all over the internet. And
best of foods, best of wines,
right? The best of everything. But it's true. I mean, they say it like it's a movie because there's a part in like Goodfellas when he's walking in, to the club, and he's like, he's walking in the back door, and everybody's getting a 20 here and a 20 there, and next. He's got the table in the front and the best service, the best wine, the best food. Why? Because, one, people don't understand, it's just the way we are, the way people are. They tip good, you take care of people. Why? Because if you take care of people, they take care of you.
But he says it was better than being a Hollywood actor or Hollywood star. I don't agree with
absolutely.
That. Yeah, for him, coming from the neighborhood. But
right.
I'd rather be the Hollywood actor or the Hollywood star, right? Best of foods, best of wines,
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I seen a different side of him. There was a different side of the guy. Like I said, like if he liked you or if he really took a liking to you,
right?
He had your back.
And that's what I mean. You're really a window into, the regular person, not, the one that people see on, 60 Minutes and all that stuff.
Well, don't get me wrong. I'm not the only one that was close to the guy.
No, I'm not saying you are, but you're the only one that I'm friends with.
There was other guys, Frankie Lestorino, very close to him. Vic Amuso, very close to him. Oscar Insorian, very close. Richie Pagarulo. I could go on and on, right? The guys were close, right? But I think my age, I was the youngest one. So you kind of had this, I'm your Uncle Anthony, right? What I'm saying is that, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've seen him mad before. I mean, I've gotten yelled at quite a few times, And when this guy would yell at you to go do something, or he was yelling,
it had a little different effects. Yeah.
When he lost his temper, everybody listened. What made him more dangerous than anybody was he had tens and tens of shooters around, so he could have you,
right?
Cops and. You could get hit from anywhere, bombs, cops, guys running in the streets.
Right, no, you can't protect yourself against that unless you just disappear.
But it was always, him, he was always had 50 different things going on. I never seen nothing like it. I would talk to him. He would always have 15 different things going on. Even on the street. I got to go do this, got to do that, do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. Like, how do you keep track of this? Never wrote nothing down.
No.
Right?
It's evidence. You can't write things down.
He was just like a machine, He was always up to something. He was always doing something. He was always hustling. Always. Never kept still.